Welcome, everyone, to our new podcast this evening. The platform is called 100 Uplift. This is a platform where, as 100 BMM, we are going to discuss issues that affect us as people like me, African black people, where we are to discuss a whole range of many things. Every time when you listen to the radio stations, TV, television, YouTube channels, particularly in South Africa, many talks about a whole range of many things, politics, economy, but most importantly, when it comes to people like me, a lot has been spoken. You hear negative things about African black people. If it's not crime, it has a face of an African black person. If it's decline in economy, it's attributed to African black people. If it's about competitiveness, we are classified as people who lack the ability to do things. And there are many things. Corruption, it would appear that corruption has a face in South Africa. You always see it as this of black people who are associated most often about it. But as 100 BMM, as an organization, we decided to establish this organization called 100 Black Men Movement. Black represent the African continent, being an African continent that is mainly about people of dark skin, which are black people, and man means a species that lives in this continent of Africa. As a movement, we are trying to say, let's come together as black people. We are a non-profit organization of like-minded leaders who will meet to advocate for the improvement in condition in their communities. So the organization is based in South Africa. It's based on in our locality where most of us reside. And our programs as an organization and activities will focus mainly on 6 factors: mentoring, education, empowerment, economic empowerment, leadership development, health and wellness, and community upliftment. Now, these are the issues that affect most of us as African black, because these are things that we don't talk about. Yesterday, I was so encouraged to listen to one of our own advocate, Skakani SC, who were introducing their organization that they're about to launch, Vuka Mzansi. It's a good initiative. And I was listening to him when he was speaking to our brother, Mziligazi, and what this organization aims to achieve. We are of the same mindset with them. We, as 100 Black Men Movement, we also believe in the same thing they believe in. We believe that it's about time that when we talk about ourselves, we talk about ourselves in a way that highlights our excellency. You know, most of the time we only talk about ourselves, we hardly speak about our excellency. We will talk about all manner of things, but where is that black consciousness among us? Where is this black like us that we can be proud with the achievement that black people do and talk about it and uplift them? Where is our next generation? What are we doing? Today we talk about youth unemployment. We can talk and blame the government and blame the society and blame other races, but what are we doing? What are we doing to uplift our own children that are coming? You know, this reminds me of icons like Mr. Maponya and many who were with him in the black chain when they established black chain as NAFCOC. Those astute businessmen who saw into the vision that unless they start something as black business people and they establish NAFCOC as an organization that seeks to bring into that space of the economy the other generation. But unfortunately, The next generation that took over, in my opinion, they ensured that the ladder that they climbed, it's kicked out so that the next generation does not come and be where they are supposed. So many of our young people, they went to school, they went to university and acquired many degrees, but to do what? To be employable. No, we don't need black people to be employable. We need black people who will run the economy, who will be producers of products, who will own the means of production. And this is very important. And it starts with us coming together as blacks. Like Mr. Advocate Skakana said it yesterday, that one of the things that they were going to be talking about and put together is an Indaba, where we all, people of like-minded, we come together and have a conversation. I agree to that. We agree as 100 Black Men Movement. It's about time as black people we come together and talk about how do we advance ourselves. As 100 Black Men Movement, our mission is to play a proactive role in leveraging our collective talent, ability, and energy towards achieving meaningful gains for us as black communities. It's important. We should come to a point where we stop complaining about what other races are doing, what they have done against us, and so forth. Yes, we appreciate that. We cannot do it away. We cannot erode it. But what is important as a generation today, what are we doing for the next generation? That is why as 100 Black Men, our motto is uplifting the banner of our next generation. We need to do something. Our children, if we don't do something today, where would our children be tomorrow? They've got to participate in the future of this country, in the future of this continent. And it starts with us today. What are we doing? We can complain about our leaders. Yes, our leaders failed us in 30 years since our democracy. They failed us. There is nothing that we can say as we leave this planet Earth as a generation. Our children are going to have a brighter future. It's about time that we come together. And it is why, as 100 Black Men Movement, having listened to what Advocate Skakane SC was saying about Vuka Mzansi, it's true, we agree. It's about time that we Vuka. We need to rise up as black people and talk about their issues, not only talk about and do something. So in the area of education, as 100 Black Men Movement, we also believe in how best can we then transform our system of education to enable our children to become producers, not to become doers. Because the education as it is in our country, it produces people who are going to become workers. There's nothing wrong to become a worker, but in order for us to participate in the economy of this country, we've got to be a nation that is able to look after its own, that is able to produce out of its own minerals. And this is very important. So as a 100 Black Men Movement, our reason to exist is that not all youth are born with privilege, opportunities, or a positive network. Some are raised throughout their lives thinking they will never be able to live their life they will want. This is because of the environment and the people who they surround themselves with every single day. It's important. Who do we surround ourselves with? Every African child should have the ability to create the life they have always wanted. And that's what we believe as 100 Black Men Movement. And we believe we can provide that for our next generation. So committing ourselves to personify the type of people our children will look up to and emulate, we embrace the immense responsibility we have as 100 Black Men Movement to our mentees and our communities. So providing our children another choice in life by being around like-minded individuals who have similar aspirations and goals. That is why we were impressed by what Advocate Skakane SC was saying as they are starting this movement or this organization called Vuka Mzansi. We believe that together with like-minded like them, we will be able to bring about the change for African black children. We owe it to our children, we owe it to our own Africans in this country to do things that will enable them to move forward. So our purpose as a movement, we intending to grow as a network of 100 Black Men movement within the SADC region, Southern African. We don't seek to be limiting ourselves within the borders of South Africa. We intend to expand beyond our South African, so that we bring all the talents that are there within the SADC region, even in Africa, so that we can bring about. We don't believe that as South Africans alone we can change our society. We can change the future of ourselves. We can deliver the education and empowerment needed to change the course of our children's lives. We need other people. We need other Africans from other states to bring that diverse. And we also believe that our children must never be limited within the fears of South Africa. They must also go out into African countries and make a difference. Africa needs Africans. Africa does not need non-Africans. It needs Africans to be able to move forward. Yes, Africa has been subjected to all manner of civil wars, dictatorships, and poverty, because we have not produced leaders. That is why in one of our 106 for the future, we seek to mentor. You cannot succeed in life, in whatever you do, unless someone mentors you, unless someone takes it upon themselves to guide you, to advise you, to coach you. Our education, we believe that we have a role to play in the education for our children. We've got to partner with schools. We've got to adopt schools. We've got to adopt at least a classroom where we can make a difference. We believe that. We also believe in leadership development. And that leadership doesn't start when a person occupies a position. Leadership is not about a position. We don't believe leadership is about influence. Now, in order for you as a person to be able to become a person of influence, you've got to be developed. You've got to be developed holistically. And we believe that the health and wellness, both intellectual wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, all aspects of your well-being, they've got to be taken care of. The economic empowerment, knowing what the economy requires. It's one thing that we can talk about. We need to be included in the economy of our country. But do we understand what does the economy require? Are we taking our kids to schools to learn what the economy requires? I was listening to some people, as I always follow a lot of our people who are passionate about issues of the economy. And they're correct. You go to areas like Rustenburg, you go to areas like the Northwest Carltonville, Klerksdorp, Beggersford, where there's mines activities there. But if we don't educate our kids to take careers that will go to the direction where the economy of their locality needs the skill, how are we then going to begin to say our children can be empowered economically? Chery from China is now taking over Nissan in Roslyn. How do we position our children in and around the area of Roslyn in Pretoria to start to study mechanical engineering that has what the current economy needs, where they are able to can participate in electrical cars manufacturing? It is important. It's good to bring these companies into our localities, but are we preparing our children to become people of value and to be able to participate meaningfully in such industries? Communities, how do we develop our communities? We still have communities that don't have water. We still have communities that have no infrastructure, roads infrastructure. Yet we expect that people who come from such communities, they must participate into the mainstream of the economy and develop this country. So as 100 Black Men Movement, these are the issues that we believe that we need to have a conversation about. We need to do something, not only to talk about, but to participate actively in the future of our children. So our why as an organization is to help shape our mentees realize their potential by showing them how to be successful and significant, stressing the importance of obtaining and applying education and providing them the tools that empower them for self-sufficiency. That is very important. Self-sufficient and cultivated civic and business leadership. And that is very important. As I said, our motto is lifting up the banner of our next generation. We've got to be lifting up. We need to make sure that our children are able to see the future. I was saying to someone that out of crisis lies an opportunity. Out of crisis. Many years ago, as I was studying the world as it changed, the fall of Berlin Wall, I've read an article where post that event that the people who were living in that East Germany, after the fall of the Berlin Wall, the cities that were part of the East Germany, many of those corporates, they went into the West Germany. Now, many of the main cities were left empty, corporates left. And when I was reading that article, I saw our city like Johannesburg, where many companies, corporate companies left and went to Sandton, others go to Fourways. But our buildings were left empty. We lacked the ability to take advantage of the opportunities. Today, we're complaining about our fellow Africans who came into our country and found and saw those and occupied those particular buildings and ran businesses. And this is what we need to be teaching our children, to be able to, when in the midst of a crisis, what opportunity lies behind that crisis. You see, I was saying to a young person yesterday that an eagle, when it flies into the storm. Why? Because the level of its altitude where it can be able to see behind the storm. It flies into the storm because it wants to catch what is behind the storm. Today, South Africa is facing a storm. But many of us, we are like other birds flying away and taking a cover. But when are we going to become like eagles, to be able to have a clear vision, to rise above the altitude of the storm, to be able to see behind the storm? This storm that South Africa is currently facing is going to pass. But have we prepared our children that by the time that storm passes, they are ready to take up opportunities that will come after the storm? It is important. As 100 Black Men Movement, together with other players in this space, we come together and have a conversation around these issues and take advantage of the intellect, that is the intellectuals that are there in our society today. Like I said, I was inspired and encouraged by the conversation Senior Counsel Advocate Skakani had with our brother Mzilikazi wa Africa. That recording of yesterday was significant. And I would encourage others like me to listen to that particular YouTube recording. It's important. It educates us on a number of things. So as we introduce ourselves today, I'm reminded by a quotation of one of our African brothers, Alumane Taue, says, Black people have achieved so much all around the world, and it is only right that we should acknowledge them and their work, as well as understanding that Black excellence alone will not solve the injustices we face. And this is why in this platform called 100 Uplift, we are going to focus in this platform talking about the acknowledging the excellency that many of our Black people keep on producing. We need to understand what it means to us and in relation to the next generation. Until we talk about the achievements that we make, yes, in the midst of a storm, there are great leaders, there are great people who are silent, who are not being spoken about. We need to start to talk about the excellency that keeps on rising among us. Yes, it's overshadowed by the storm that our media, but we need to be careful. The media is owned by those who do not want to elevate the excellency of black people. Yes, one can acknowledge that we see a lot of corrupt leaders and everything, but equally so, there are those who are doing exceptionally well, but we don't talk about them, who continue to represent us very well in an international platform. You don't talk about it. Dr. Petrus Motsepe is one of the people who are doing extremely well in the African continent through soccer, African football. He is currently together with the world leaders in that space in America in the World Cup, doing wonderful things. He's representing, he's lifting up the banner for all of us to follow. He's lifting up the banner for all of us to follow. So I just want to conclude this evening introduction. We are believing and committed to produce the next generation who bear the resemblance to black consciousness, black excellence, and black like us.